Greetings. Hello. You're in the right place at the right time to learn about how to become an internationally best-selling author and why it's so important now more than ever to take advantage of this great opportunity. I'm Kathleen Caldwell. I'm so excited to introduce our esteemed faculty member, guest speaker today, Cathy Derksen. So let me jump in and I'm going to share a couple ideas and some thoughts. And by the way, I'm Kathleen Caldwell, founder of C-Suite Networks, Women's Coaching and Consulting Council. And I am so delighted. I am an international best-selling author from years ago, and I am really excited to re-engage with that. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment because it really made a difference. So I am here to give testimony that what Cathy Derksen is going to talk about is really important. So get ready for a great program. So glad that you're tuning in and you're here supporting and watching our broadcast today. And for all of the people that will be watching the replay, we so appreciate you too. Thank you. So very quickly, we're all about promoting, showcasing, highlighting, and lifting up coaches, consultants, trusted advisors, thought leaders, speakers, trainers, people, specifically women. You've got big ideas, and we want to help you maximize and amplify your ideas in our council. And so part of our program, we have got some great replays of our most recent programs and now over 100 programs that we've got on our YouTube channel. Last month's programs, we had a great program on sales strategies to earn more income and grow your business. It was fantastic. Great interaction and great ideas. Be sure to tune into that broadcast. We also are launching our new corporate coaching and consulting roundtable. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later in our broadcast. And we had a fantastic program on sales funnels, why it's really important to hold the hand of your prospective clients and prospects along the journey with sales funnels. So be sure to watch those broadcasts and many, many more. Well, I'm sure you know this by now because we preach about it on pretty much every other call, but you just can't go on to LinkedIn. And if you do a Google search or you do a search on LinkedIn, you'll know that the coaching and consultants on LinkedIn, it's becoming more and more crowded. Okay. And I view that as a great opportunity, but the statistics are quite amazing. I did a search just a couple days ago, and right now, if you do a search, there are over 6 million people who have identified or have in their description the word coach or consultant. And before COVID, back in 2020, there were about 2 million people on LinkedIn that had the title coach. So we have now tripled the number of people who are identifying as coaches and consultants. And so I think that's a great thing because we've got 8 billion people on the planet, folks. So we have a lot of people to coach up, and the power of coaching. The power of coaching is phenomenal. To have a trusted advisor, a thought leader, a cheerleader, a strategist, having someone by your side, standing for you, standing with you to help you get what you want in life. And, personally, professionally, the power of coaching is incredible. And so with all of these coaches, there's so much opportunity. We've got a lot of people to coach up around the planet, but at the same time, how do you stand out in a sea of people who are saying they're credentialed, saying that they've got this certificate, they've done this type of work? It's all really important, but how do people choose coaches? And so I like to utilize the same philosophy as Paul McCartney and the Beatles. Hello. They had millions upon millions upon millions of wonderful songs as the Beatles and Paul McCartney on his own, but he used to have a great phrase. He would look at his Beatles, his colleagues, his brothers in music, and he would say, listen, let's go out and write ourselves a new pool. Okay. What he meant by that is let's put something at stake here. Let's put something to use. Let's go out and write something. Let's become published. Let's become, out there and relevant that people want to buy, that people want to download, that people want. And so from that, they go out and be able to obviously build a new pool. And so, he always disputed that they were so, non-materialistic. Well, he says in so many quotes that, yeah, they were pretty materialistic. And so they knew the power of the written word. And so just like you, let's go out and build ourselves a new pool, and let's help other people build themselves a new pool or whatever it is that they want to do. And so today's program is all about the power of being an internationally renowned best-selling published author. And this is one thing that you can do to stand out from the crowd, to build yourself and write yourself a new pool or whatever you want, and help others to do the same. And so it's very, very powerful medium. And I would like to just mention that early in my coaching career, I had the great opportunity to be in an anthology book or a collaborative book or compilation, however you talk about that, with Dr. Stephen Covey and Dr. Ken Blanchard. And this book put me on the map. And so it was a great opportunity to collaborate and essentially raise up my visibility through the power of other people's visibility. And of course, Ken Blanchard and Stephen Covey were just fantastic in doing this. So great opportunity. And today's speaker, esteemed faculty member Cathy Derksen, is giving you the opportunity to do the same with other thought leaders, with other people that are recognized as big thinkers around the planet. And so with that, I'd like to introduce, it's my great honor to introduce my dear colleague, my friend, a woman whom I deeply respect, personally and professionally, Cathy Derksen. Cathy Derksen, I'm just going to go ahead and read off her fabulous introduction. She's a catalyst and a disruptor. She supports and inspires midlife women to rediscover their brilliance and step into new possibilities. And don't we need that more than ever before? I know that Cathy's books, and also as the founder of her company, Inspired Tenacity Global Solutions, she helps people take a bigger global stage and take on the courage to face new challenges and to do it with a boldness and be inspired in their lives. It's a great, great opportunity, but not doing it alone. Doing this journey with her as your mentor and guide, to be the publisher of these books and to take you by the hand and show you how being an internationally recognized best-selling author can elevate you and your career. Cathy is also herself an international speaker, and she's an 11-time best-selling author who inspires her audience to dream and dream big, take a leap of faith, and reach far into the future with goals that can be acted on today. She's creating a platform supporting women to share their own inspiring stories, and also in books and through podcasts, through the written word, through events, all kinds of exciting things. And so with her program, Cathy takes you from chapter to concept. This is really important. You're not in this alone, to becoming a published best-selling author in a simple and exciting process. On a personal note, Cathy lives near Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Great, great, beautiful place. She has 2 adult children and 2 fur babies, and she enjoys spending time in nature, traveling, meeting new people, and connecting with her global community, and really making a difference for others. I know that's Cathy's big mission. So with that, I'd like to turn over our global platform to you, Cathy, to share about this opportunity to step into becoming an international best-selling author, why it's important, how to do it. And we're also going to take some questions. Please put your questions in the chat. We'll be reading those off. Cathy will take a few minutes to answer those questions too. So with that, Cathy, let me turn the podium over to you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Kathleen. That was great. And let me just get my slides up. I've only got a couple slides. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Everything moves around when you take your share off.
Amazing. Yes, exactly.
1 second here. Okay. My computer's in slow motion today. But no, it is great to be here. And you've said so many perfect dead-on things around the whole world of publishing. And so, come on, computer, wake up. Okay, I think it's gonna go, come on. Anyways, it doesn't seem to want to jump into full screen. Maybe it will in a second. So as Kathleen mentioned, I am Cathy Derksen from Inspired Tenacity. I've gone through many career transitions and really been fine-tuning how it is, what I bring to the world and what the best gifts and impact that I can create. And I think as entrepreneurs, that's a huge thing that we're all focusing on, is how do you create bigger impact? How do you improve your visibility? Visibility is a huge thing. And as Kathleen was saying, with all the noise that's out there, how do people find you? What makes you different? What makes you stand out? And that's one of the key things around the books, standing out. And as Kathleen mentioned, I've been doing several books myself, so 11 #1 bestsellers so far. As you can see, I really enjoy doing this, and it's really because I see so much value in each one of these. Every one of these books that I've been in has a different theme, there's a different group of authors, so it creates a whole new opportunity of benefits that come with it. And so far in 2023, I have released the top 3 books here. So those are my babies, and I have several more on the go. And so, like I said, I love the collaborative books, and I love giving other people the opportunity to step into these opportunities, because it really is massive. And let me just jump over here. So here's a quick overview of what we're going to go through today. So I'll give you an overview of the benefits of being a published author, do a bit of talk around the difference around solo books versus being in an anthology, collaborative book, compilation book. There's many different words for this multi-author project, like the one Kathleen was just showing us. And then going on to what are the different opportunities that could come from being in these books, and how do you personalize that experience and the impact that you're bringing. I'll give you an example of one of the projects that I'm working on right now, and then we'll look at some steps of how do you get started. Just jumping off of the screen share here as well. And so yes, so far I've been in many projects and worked with at least 7 different publishing groups. So I would say that I have quite a bit of experience around different ways that things get done, different potential opportunities that come out of these projects. So it really is something that I've had a lot of experience over the years and has now become the main focus of the work that I do. So definitely. And one of the things that Kathleen also brought up earlier was that idea that it is really has become expected that entrepreneurs have the word author in their profiles. And then to have the words best-selling author or international best-selling author in your profile is something that people do look for now. And when they are comparing you with other coaches or other people in your field, they will notice whether you have that author status or not. And so that's a key part that we need to bring to the table. There's a lot of talk these days in the industry around storytelling, the value of telling your story, sharing on a more vulnerable level about who you are, what you've been through, what's the journey that's taken you to where you are now and to the work that you're doing now, which is a huge way that really helps your potential clients to connect with you more, and then also to, again, differentiate you from somebody else who may be competing in that field or just someone else that they are putting you up against. So personally, I don't really like looking at competition per se. I think that there is more than enough opportunity for everybody. So I don't necessarily like looking at it that way, but I do know for sure that people do compare different people in the markets. So that's a huge way to look at it. And when you have those credentials, when you're able to put that on your profile, it really does boost your credibility. It amplifies your authority. So people do make an assumption that if you've got author in your title, and especially best-selling author, that you must have something important to say and that other people want to listen. So it really does build your authority from that perspective as well. Visibility is another huge thing to consider. And again, going back to now, we are living in a global world. We have a whole world in front of us that people are coming into the circle, people are connecting. And as Kathleen mentioned, that's creating a lot of noise in the environment of who's looking for you, how do they find you, and creating visibility with a book around the marketing becomes a huge way that you can improve that. For many of us as entrepreneurs, one of the things that's really important to us is the message. We often have a message that we're here to share. For instance, the message that I'm here to share is focused on midlife women and letting them know that there are so many opportunities and there's a community here to support them stepping into those new opportunities. And so I want to be able to bring that message to as wide an audience as I can. My community now is on an international scale. I have every continent. There are people in my community. And so I can deliver that message much stronger and more broadly by using both my credentials as an author, but also the network that it's created for me. And that's really I really find that is one of the most important parts of being in a collaborative book versus a solo book. And we'll get onto that in a second as well. But I always like to remind people, many of us feel, well, who am I to write anything? Why do I think I'm an author? Those stories we tell ourselves do tend to hold us back. And I just like to remind people that they say that 97% of people in general have a dream to be a published author. But the reality is only 3% of those people ever actually accomplish that. And then when you look at the number of those people that then become best-selling authors, that number is even smaller. So can you imagine what it would do, how it would change your life if you would actually step into that and take on that role? And with the women that I tend to work with, one of the huge things that I see is a shift, because having a real impact that changes people's lives is my big goal. And this is one of the ways that I've really found is a beautiful example of creating huge impact in people's lives. The people that I've worked with in my books, it builds confidence. It helps them step into new possibilities, see that there's a much bigger world and the opportunities that they can step into. So those are a couple of the really important things that I've seen. So if we look at comparing solo books versus doing an anthology, that's a common question that I get from people. So many people that I've talked to, they again want to be a published author, but they're not sure where to get started. They have the idea that they need to go do their own solo book. And as we all know, that can be a process that takes a long time. I've talked to some people that have been 5 years, 10 years, even 20 years, they've been working on their book. And I'm sure you can imagine that could be really frustrating. So these are one of the benefits of being in a collaborative book, is it gives you that opportunity to just write a piece of a book. So basically how the collaborative books work, they tend to have 20, 30, 40 different authors, some more. And each one of those authors is only writing one piece. So one chapter, a certain number of word count per project. And so it makes it much more doable to step into being a published author when you don't have the requirements of really writing the whole book, because it is a huge task. For some people that do have a mass of content that they've been working on, for them it might be simpler because they already have all the work together. Now they're organizing it, they're assembling it in a logical way, and then they're publishing it. Whereas for a lot of people, they've got a lot of work, but it might not fit together so easily. So it would take a lot longer to put together. And let's see. With the collaborative books as well, one of the things that I love about it is we've got a system in place that makes it simple, smooth, fun. Most of the books that I do, we have roughly 20 people involved in each one. All of those people get the opportunities to meet each other. They get opportunities both in chats, in Zooms. We've even had some people that were traveling internationally that actually met up with some of the other people in the book. And the collaborations that have come out of these projects has been amazing. One of the authors that I had from Australia, she's now actually come over to North America and done a whole speaking tour with her work. That the contacts that she made through the book have actually helped her to amplify her network in a new place. She even brought the books with her in the airport. She took them to the different conferences. She did book signings. And so she did amazing work at really getting it out there, building on that collaboration and that network that was created there. Some of the opportunities that can come up from the book, and again, when you're working with a team of people, you've gotten to know them, you're building on their networks to increase your network, and then you've also got that credential to put on your page. And so what I found, it opens up doors that you never even saw before. Opportunities to be on podcasts, summits, live stages, doing workshops, being in other books. That's one of the ways that I have ended up with so many books, is that as I have put out a few of them, other groups invite me to work on books with them. And so I continue to be involved in other people's projects as well as my own projects. And like I said, I love it. And I find it is the best way to really expand and amplify your network, your visibility, and just to get your message out there in a much bigger way that you wouldn't have had the opportunity to do otherwise. And one of the things too, I wanted to give you an example. So in one of the projects that I'm working on at the moment, we're working with the C-Suite Network Publishing Group. And I'll give you a bit of an idea of how this works. People often ask me, how does it work to be in these books? And so basically, we bring together a team of authors from all over the world. So what I've done is I create a theme. I'm always looking for ideas that women are excited to write about, things that they're inspired to share, things that people have tools and strategies and experience that would help the reader to move forward in their life. A couple of the books that I've had out so far this year, one was called Embrace Courage. Another was called Midlife Awakening. So again, people sharing their stories, sharing their tools, their strategies, so that now the reader can take some lessons, take some confidence from that experience. And so with the C-Suite Publishing group that we're working with right now, this book is called Women Transforming Leadership in Business and Community. And so we're bringing together a global community of women that are in a leadership position, so they have that experience and those tools and strategies to be able to share. So they're coming together in this group of women that didn't know each other otherwise are now getting to know each other. They're collaborating in different ways. And now they will be able to take that forward and amplify each other in their networks. With the group that we're working with here with the C-Suite Publishing, we're going to have a lot of really amazing marketing tools as well, which is a huge value that comes with the collaboration book, that now that you are actually able to, you're splitting the cost of doing all these things around the professional editing, proofreading, formatting, Amazon release, launch, marketing, all those things. If you were doing a solo book, you would now have to be covering all those expenses yourself. Or if you're one of those people that actually gets a book deal, then it might be covered for you. But often there's also that next piece that now they expect you to buy 1,000 books to cover that. So there's different ways that works. But with working as a team in a collaborative book, now you're all coming together to share those expenses. We are creating marketing materials, so there'll be personalized marketing materials, there'll be group marketing materials. So now we're each amplifying each other on social media, on email, in our networks, getting on each other's podcasts, doing summits. So the amount that it can amplify your reach, your visibility, your credibility is huge. And especially when you're working on a theme that you're now connecting with a community that you want to be associated with. One of the other books that I'm working on now is focused on grief. So I have quite a few experts in the field of grief who are coming together in the book to share their wisdom and experience. And so now they're building their network of other people they can collaborate with in that field. So, and again, working with a group of people they never would have met if they weren't in the book. So I find that to be huge. And one of the things that a lot of them are doing, several people these days do have podcasts, and they're always looking for guests and they need more guests. Well, if you're now in a book with 20 or 30 other people, you've got your whole year set out for you of guests that you might be looking for. So for a lot of people with podcasts, that's a huge thing. What I've seen done with a few of the ladies as well, they've taken the books and they've created a book signing. So some have done local book signings, just coordinated with their local bookstores, had them bring in some books. They do get together there. And one of the authors in my book, she actually went to Europe and did a book tour. And some of her contacts out that way actually set up little book signing events that she could do. So she actually toured parts of Europe doing book signings for her book. That's a great way to travel, I would say. With the book that we're doing now, also with the C-Suite Network Publishing, we're actually going to have a billboard Times Square, New York City. So not too many people can say that they've been in a book that's up on the billboard. So that's another huge one. A lot of people go into books with the idea that it's a money-making venture. And I can tell you right now that that's probably something you should just put aside. It might make you some income, but I would not look at it as any significant income. Books that are sold through Amazon, very little residual income actually comes out of them. So what I do with my book projects is we actually connect directly with a nonprofit group that's in alignment with the project we're working on. So all of the net revenue that comes out of Amazon just goes directly to the nonprofit group. So that way too, we're really amplifying our network. Now that nonprofit group is sharing our information, we're sharing their information. So again, a great way to build your visibility, amplify your message, and just to get out there in a bigger way that you never would have had the opportunity to do otherwise. And Kathleen, was there any questions come up yet? Just want to check in and see if what's going on. Any questions?
So good, Cathy. I have a whole page of notes. I'm so excited.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
this is really terrific. So yes, so a couple questions in the chat. One of the questions is, what generally is the time frame for a book project? That's one of the questions, and that was asked by Susan.
And that is actually an excellent question. So first I'll look at it comparing it with a solo book. So again, with doing a solo book can often take many months and years to get finished. With a compilation book, we're actually able to get it out within a very narrow timeline. So the part that takes the longest is gathering all the people from different sources. So 20 women from all over the world coming together on a theme. But once we've got that group together and we're getting our chapters ready, it can be like 2 or 3 months from then that we can actually publish and launch. And so that's going through professional editing, proofreading, doing a full marketing. We do what we call a launch. So that's when we pick a special day and we really amplify the activity around the book and ask our friends, our family, our networks to purchase on that day. And another question that I often get is, how does that work? Like, what is a bestseller? What does that even mean? And it's a very misunderstood thing. And so basically with Amazon bestseller, the bestseller status is top 100 in the category. There are many, many different categories. And then the the number that you hit is based on several times during the day, they will do a checkpoint. And at that point, they will rank the activity in all the books that are being sold at that time. So that's where that number 1, number 2, number 10, those rankings come in. And I describe it like heats in a race, and that there's different heats all day long. And so you want your activity to get amplified and get beyond the others that you're competing with. And so it's really quite fun to watch the different standings. And I've been in books where we're back to back with like Brene Brown and when Harry's book came out and groups like that. And so it's really fun to see your book up beside books of celebrity authors and see you coming up ahead. And so there are strategies around getting that done, what categories you're in. Sometimes it's even down to what day you choose to launch. And the last few books that I've been releasing, we've been hitting we hit number 1 in 5 countries. And so now my big goal is how many countries can we hit number 1 in?
Yeah, very, very nice. Very nice. And so another question in the chat here is how do I decide what to write about? There's so many things I want to write about, and how do I decide in a book to do, in a compilation, anthology, group book?
Yes.
And what would you say, Cathy, to that question?
I think there's a couple of sides of that. So for one thing, I find that it's really important for those of us that are entrepreneurs in business, so we have our own message, our own business that we are wanting to promote and amplify by using the book. So in those cases, you would want to pick a book that is in alignment and connects with what you're working on, or that your story, that vulnerability, that sharing of your story will then connect with your audience. So that's a couple of things. One thing I find that's really is actually what got me started into the books in the beginning was if there's a theme or a title that calls to you. And the group that I did my first books with is a local group here, and they've been doing, I think they'd done 4 books before the one I jumped into, and I was aware of their books, and I just didn't feel any urge, the need to jump into it. And then they had a book come up, and it was focused on emotional intelligence.
Great.
And at that time, I'd been through a whole bunch of life changes and transformations, and it just hit me. I heard that title. I thought, I have a story for that. I need to share my story in that book.
Nice.
And that's one of the things that I do with many of the titles that I'm working on right now. Like one of the titles I'm working on is Ripple Effect of Impact. And for so many of us that are in those helping industries, that's what we're trying to create. We're trying to create impact that now creates a ripple effect of impact. So for some people in those fields, they'll hear that title and they go, that's my book. And it's almost like you're called to be in that book.
Yes, fantastic. And, I also made some notes that also really stood out for me is that, of course, when you are in a collaborative book project, it's so, and my experience has been, and I look forward to being in your upcoming books as well. And, having our council really take advantage of this is that really this term, a rising tide lifts all boats, is that this sisterhood specifically, you get to link arms with other very, very smart, committed women who are maximizing their impact too. And so when the book travels and when a book is purchased and a book is given, is gifted, it's that your message and your chapter is riding along with it. And so we'll never know the impact. That's really the theme for today is maximizing our impact. We'll never know the impact of that because the books just are, like you were saying, go all around the world. Hopefully in the future, they're going to be translated into multiple languages, but we get to, borrow the credibility of others and also the audience of our colleagues as well. And they for us too. It's really a beautiful reciprocal kind of relationship, which is part of the, of course, reciprocity and respect and two of the major values in C-suite network.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you bring up a very good point too, that the books that I do are released on paperback and Kindle, and some are released on hardcover as well. And so, yes, like you say, you're actually holding it in your hand. You can actually give it to other people. And the thing I love about real paper books, they last forever. My mom's got books that are 100 years old. And so in my vision, 10 years, 20 years from now, somebody else will pick up that book and they will get some impact and a lesson or something that comes from them. With a lot of these books, what I love to do is just randomly open to different pages sometimes. And that feeling that the message I need will be on the page that I open up, because every chapter is a standalone story. So they're based on a similar theme, but each story is its own story.
Really fantastic, Cathy. I mean, this is the future, but it's leading edge what you're doing, but it's also really the gold standard now as a coach, consultant, speaker, trainer, that we must be. We must be published authors. And this is the easiest path to do it in a quicker kind of fashion. And then take the time to write your own book. Going through this experience first is really the best way to do it. It's the express version, the express lane to becoming an international best-selling author, right?
And one of the points on that as well, when people are writing their own solo book, I always like to point out to them, it's wonderful to do a compilation book first.
Yes.
You earn that best-selling status from that book quickly. So now when you release your solo book, you can put it right on the cover of that book that you are an international best-selling author. So that immediately gives your solo book credibility from what you've earned in the collaboration book. So that's a huge one. And one of the things that I'm offering to the group today, I'm open for 30-minute Zoom chats. So anyone who's got questions, you can book right on my calendar. My website is inspiredtenacity.com. And from there, there's buttons that you can just book a call. Just let me know that you came from this program, and I will give you a $300 discount on any books that you might want to jump into. And I have many, and more to come.
Really fantastic, Cathy. Oh my goodness. This is really exciting because it's really the table stakes as we put together the description with our teams. Being a international best-selling author is it's now the table stakes of being a very successful coach consultant. And it's really the new, as it's been used and talked about before, it's really the new business card, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, definitely. And
Very
it's
nice.
great to share with friends and family too.
Completely. And a way to get your message out there, which is really the theme for today. And to seed the market with your message, your process, your frameworks, your ideas, warm up a potential audience out there by the efforts and the collaboration from your fellow authors. And it's just a great opportunity to warm up a market and use as a leave behind, and use it also as a lead magnet, which has been really part of the theme of our funnels. I mean, there's just so many great opportunities to use your
and
new
all
book.
the books have a bio page, so you're able to give who you are, what you do, contact information. As part of the launching for the books, we also have a landing page that has a gift items, so you can have a lead magnet gift listed there that then will get those people connecting directly with you, and you get their contact information. It's amazing the revenue that you can build off of that as well.
Very nice. Well, this has been tremendous. And so, Cathy, would you also reiterate? I know people will connect with you on LinkedIn and Facebook, but again, your website so people can connect with you, the best way to reach you.
Yeah, inspiredtenacity.com is my website, and LinkedIn is where I'm at most often. So that's the best social media to connect with me on there. And yeah, I would love to jump on a Zoom with anyone that's got questions or interested. And yeah, we make it simple and quick, and you will love just working with the team and just amplifying, building that global network. So
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. So folks, put in the chat your biggest takeaway from our time together with Cathy Derksen. My gosh, fabulous program. Thank you so much. Thank you. This has been great.
Thank
You've
you.
inspired, and I cannot wait till we get going on our book project. This is going to be great with our
Yes.
new group. Yes, yes. So why don't I finish up with just some final takeaways here? And of course, connect with Cathy Derksen. And, with this project, I just want to reiterate to each of you, you don't want to do this alone. This is be working in a collaborative way with someone like, work with Cathy because she has done this so many times. You want to follow the recipe. Cathy, and also I love to mention C-Suite Network Publishing, big shout out to C-Suite Network Publishing. You don't want to be the first person to be in a project at the first time. You want to have the recipe perfected for excellence. And so I highly recommend, that's what I'm planning to do, is go with success. And so reach out to Cathy, and she's got special programs, special offers available to you. And so with that, the key is now take action. You can be thinking about doing this for another year, or you could take action immediately, and you could be a published, internationally recognized best-selling author in within 6 months or a year, and you can be enjoying the benefits in a year. Or you can be sitting on the sidelines, pulled over to the side of the road, so to speak, and still thinking about it. So the key to success, as we all know, is taking action. Okay, so be sure to connect with Cathy Derksen, set up a time to talk about it, and just have a call to talk about the possibilities, talk about your ideas, what you want to tell the world, the impact that you want to make through the power of the written word. Really important. And so, as always, we are focusing on what's next. We're focusing on a powerful, successful, awesome future. Every Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, we have our Women's Success Circle. We're on our 63rd consecutive Saturday. We're so excited. Every week, the topic is different. We're, in fact, talking about on Saturday, let's focus on the money, honey. So we're talking about how to make more money, how to be abundant, how to be prosperous, how to have a mindset, and how to magnetize money to us. And being a published author is one of the ways to do it. So with that, come join us on Saturday. And then we are opening up our new corporate women's coaching and consulting corporate roundtable. And we meet once a month. We're talking about strategies and tactics that are working now in your corporate business. And so be sure to attend. That's next Thursday. It's always on the fourth Thursday of every month, 1 p.m. Eastern. C-Suite Network, we're so delighted. Thank you to C-Suite. Big kisses for helping us amplify our roundtable. And so check us out on YouTube. This broadcast will be released within 24 hours on our very awesome YouTube channel. Refer a friend. If you know someone wants to maximize their impact as an entrepreneur, as an executive, as a coach, consultant, as a trusted advisor, thought leader, whatever, everyone should be a published author because you have ideas. And Cathy Derksen and also C-Suite Network, we want to do a shout out, can get your ideas out of your head and into the world. Okay. Doesn't do much good if it's stuck up here. We got to get it out in the world working. So check out our YouTube channel. And also, just to complete our time together, we really think in our council that the real secret to all of this is being powerful together. So let's lock arms together. Let's all step into being international best-selling authors. The time's now. We can't wait any longer. The time is now. So take action. And also, we invite you to join our council. Be part of a council that supports you, promotes you, highlights you, gives you an international platform to tell your story and to promote who and what you do. Don't be alone in the world as a coach consultant. You need a sisterhood, and we are that sisterhood. So come join us and set up a call. It's very easy to do that. Calendly.com. Just type in Kathleen Caldwell. Hit me up on LinkedIn or Facebook, but schedule a time. Let's talk about your business. What are you doing? Who are you aligned with? What are your strategies and tactics? We've got to differentiate ourselves from the 6 million coaches and consultants out there. Let's build an even bigger pie. And so as we complete our time, thank you for watching our broadcast. Thank you to all of you who are here. Thank you. So great that you're here in our broadcast. We always invite you to take a moment before completing the broadcast. Just take a moment and write down, type in, think for yourself on what was your biggest takeaway from our time together. What was the thing that you got the most out of? We'd love to bookend things. It's a coaching tactic, of course. Take a moment. What was your biggest takeaway? And also, most importantly, what's your next step? Ideas without action are just daydreams. Okay. So take a moment. What's your biggest takeaway? And what will you do about it? So, with that, thanks again. Can't wait to see you around our global campus and take action about becoming an international best-selling author. The time's now, and the time is for you. So with that, thanks again. We'll see you very soon. Kathleen Caldwell, C-Suite Network, Women's Coaching and Consulting Council, and Corporate Roundtable. Thank you again. Bye-bye.